Hi, my name is Mary Biesinger, and I bet you're wondering what I'm doing back talking to you again today. I've wondered that myself. Why do I feel compelled to share this message through a video that maybe nobody will even watch, and that my children are being crazy during? What's the point? And as I was talking to my friend today about Vanguard and what it's done for her family and for my family, I came across a couple of important points that I think would be valid in this environment to tell you why choose Vanguard. I don't make any money from any of this. This is totally non-profit. I just feel like they're great ideas that can really bless people. So today what I'd like to talk to you about is share maybe the difference between what the Vanguard Youth Method is and what a Vanguard Group is. I think this will help people to understand how they can better incorporate different principles from it into their own homes versus implementing it as a Vanguard Youth Group. So let me distinguish what the two things are. Okay, the Vanguard Youth Group basically uses the Vanguard Youth Method and implements certain elements of that method to make it a structure that can be recreated in different places. Now the Vanguard Youth Group, so we'll have the group over here. So the group, it uses the method. On the website I'll have certain things that should be a part of that group. So it incorporates certain elements from the Vanguard Youth Method, but it still has a lot of flexibility within it. For instance, you get to choose the classics you use, you get to choose the subjects you study, you get to choose which skills you want to teach them, which core activities you want to incorporate, but it should look a certain way and have a certain flavor to make it a Vanguard Youth Group. And as you want to start your own group, which is been a fantastic experience in my history, in my memory, in my experience, and I have some friends that have started their own groups, and they've each looked different, which is really exciting, but they each contain elements of the same things that make you know that when you go to a Vanguard Youth Group, it contains these elements. So the difference between that and the Vanguard Youth Method is the method, I feel like I should get out there so people can use these really cool principles that we've not stumbled across but kind of formulated over the years. So people can incorporate them in their homes, in their homeschooling. If they're teachers and they have a little more flexibility in what they do, private schools or whatnot, they can incorporate some of the ideas in their different teaching environments. But what I want to focus on today is why use the method. When I started homeschooling many years ago, I think it was 13 years ago, I was confronted with just a huge barrage of things I could teach my children. I don't know if you felt this way, if you felt completely overwhelmed with, well, I want to teach them everything. I want them to be capable adults. I want them to be able to function in society. I want them to know about things. I don't want them to sound ignorant. I want them to be ready for college, for tests. All these things were flooding through my mind as I was facing the idea of teaching my children. Across the years, it hasn't changed. There's never-ending waves of new information that's coming out as ways to help us to teach our children better. And so I think the problem with this is you get overwhelmed. And you have all these different things, you're always feeling like you're behind. And the one thing I like about the Vanguard Youth Method is it gives you a place to put what you're learning and incorporate it into a way that makes sense. And it gives you kind of some comfort on knowing that you're going the right direction. So just as a basic understanding of that, again, I'm going to recreate this in another video, and some of you may have seen it already. But what you can do is you can take all this information you're getting bombarded with. I need to teach them penmanship. I need to teach them how to speak well. I need to teach them, I need to have them read Moby Dick. I need to have them learn about how the xylem and phloem works in a tree. So you have all these things you think you need to teach your children, and it probably would be a good idea. But what Vanguard Youth does is it gives you a purpose on why to teach them that. It gives them a context of why it's important, and it also teaches them how to make connections between those different areas of information. I don't know about you, but that itself is mind-boggling, to be able to have a context, to be able to organize the information, have a starting frame point to move forward with, and then be able to incorporate it in your homeschooling. So let's say you start and you know you've kind of implemented this Vanguard Youth Method, you know that there's a core of information that you want to teach your children, and you can see that in another video, the core and crust video. And you know there's crust skills that you want to teach them. just basically core shapes their principles and their beliefs, and the crust teaches them the individual skills like writing and reading and that. Okay, so you want to have some leadership. You want to have some geo-conquest or geography history. I'm going to write this bigger here because you can't see it on there, I know. So we have leadership. I'll just abbreviate. We have geo-conquest here, and we have Eureka, and then we have imaginative arts, or all of your arts, okay? So let's look at this in the context of what I'm saying. So, let's say your friend comes across this great curriculum, for instance, it happened to me, this great anatomy book. Oh, it's fantastic, it's by the Apologia Science series, and you really got to teach your children this. And I'm like, oh, that's another thing I want to teach them. Well, I think, well, great. This year for Eureka, let's focus on that. Let's focus on how anatomy applies to themselves and make connections with that in the world. And then let's do experimentation. That'll be a crust skill that they can learn this year. And they'll also learn some facts and information about the body, which again is a crust skill. Therefore, okay, I'm creating this whole human being, and that's a way that I can help to interject that into their core and their crust. Let's take something else. Let's say that you come across this great art curriculum. Oh, great. Let's see. How am I going to use that art? Well, does it help strengthen the core of my child? Does it help strengthen some crust skills? Do they already have those crust skills? Is this the most effective way to do both? Or are there better ways out there? This is just a great way to look at things, take them for what they're at, the different curriculum that you come across, and give them a place, or different groups that you want to be in. For instance, my kids have been Vanguard Youth Groups, but I also felt that they could use a little more depth in speech, and I didn't feel like they were getting it in where we were at. So what we did is we found this great person who mentored them and did speeches for them. Martineau, he's fantastic. If you're in his area, I would highly recommend him. But what I looked at is I said, what is he teaching in his group? Is he just teaching speech and debate? Which I think is a leadership crust skill. Speech and debate is awesome, but what is he teaching about their core? How is he affecting that, affecting their core with what he's teaching? And I looked at it, I looked at what he was discussing, I looked at the information he was bringing in, and I could see that he was helping them become leaders that could assimilate and analyze information, that he was doing it based on principle, and I felt like it would be an asset to our home for them to strengthen their leadership, core, and crust. This is just the tip of the iceberg of why Vanguard Youth is just so fun. Again, I am not making any profit from this, anything from it. I don't even like how I look on the camera, but something inside me feels like that I should share this with people so that they can become familiar with these great ideas and implement them and really save them hours of headaches at home. So what I'd like you to do is think about this. Think about, let's see, do I like any of the ideas? If I had that concern, if I had that dilemma in the past of, what am I going to do with all this curriculum? How am I going to organize it? How can I incorporate it in my home? And then if you have had that, then I encourage you to look at more videos and find out a little bit more about the Vanguard Youth Method. I'll have information up soon where you can, on the website you can go to, that will have it all organized. But for now, I just want to start thinking about these ideas. Do I need something like this for my home? Do I need more context? Do I want what Vanguard Youth might have to offer? And then share with some friends, bounce the ideas back and forth, and let's synergize and see what we can come up with. So thanks for taking time to listen to me today, and looking forward to seeing you in future videos. Thank you.